My new cake mix.
We have the power on. All right.
And it's so delicious.
I think we're getting through, Captain. What year? 1987, I think. Try it. Hello? To anybody watching, this is Captain Power. Jonathan Power. Do you read? We have a situation here. The year is 2147. Human life is threatened by biodreads. They follow a Lord Dread. I need your help.
Oh, I didn't know what house I was going into. The strangulation charge was stayed. A bunch of other bullshit. So it was like kind of a kangaroo court scenario. This time it's pretty fucking clear. But anyway, that's the big news for my neighborhood. Thanks.
Super fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at least you got a really old church in your neighborhood too, you know? So it all evens out.
Yeah,
Good.
I guess that fucking... Not sure what that does to the real estate, but...
No one. There was down the
Too
street,
early to
literally
joke.
down the street from me. Down the street from me, there is a house, and here's what happened in this house. The boyfriend, it was a gay couple. I don't know what their fucking problem was, but one of them got weird and killed the other one, and and put him out in the trash.
No.
To get picked up. And obviously that didn't work out. And
what
so,
do you mean, like his entire body, or he cut him up?
I'm not sure. I think it's just the entire body. I don't think he lost his fucking mind and turned into an axe murderer. I think he was a crime of passion.
Yeah, I prefer it.
Yeah, it could have been. If I could go back in time and talk to him, I'd give him some advice. But I guess the point of that is just like horror happens down the street from us pretty regularly, probably. This one, what you've described is pretty much beyond the pale, but nonetheless, you just end up kind of not caring after a while. You're just like, oh, that's the murder house, I remember.
Yeah, the best part. One of my boss actually found a video of this like local Welland man being like, "I'm a concerned citizen. There's been an atrocity across the street from all the neighbors," and he's live streaming this guy's fucking house. And I was like,
shit.
"Oh my god!"
Wow.
Anyway, that was a good Facebook find, also. But there's a lot of this turned into a shit show, like in an incredible way. But anyway,
yeah, holy fuck! You know what else was an incredible shit show in most ways is Alien Earth. I don't know. That's not a good transition to Alien Earth.
Oh wow!
Oh, that's not fair. That's not fair. However, okay, I want to say, Chris, have you watched the most recent one with the spaceship people?
Yeah.
Okay. So that spaceship people episode confirms my fucking opinion that the first episode fucking makes no sense, because they even make a point of saying we're not a missile, we're an arrow. Like we're going so fast and we can't slow down and there's nothing we can do. So that the crash at the beginning is like that. It goes to my point of like physics is not something this show's concerned about, and it gets to your thing about Chris, like where the alien just becomes whatever is needed in any given moment. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
Just felt vindicated. That's all.
You can't make a show about Alien without removing some of the suspense and tension of the alien itself, right? But I think we all agreed it was a pretty good episode, though.
Oh yeah, it was good stuff. I don't know how we can talk about it without spoiling things.
No, we can't.
Spoiler.
That's the rub.
Yeah. Well, it continues to be good. We can say that.
It was like a little compact on the ship. It was like a mini alien movie, right? So you get your throwback Pulp Fiction style, and you get to find out what happened, kind of, right?
And my new favorite character of the entire series was like introduced. I didn't realize that this was my favorite character of the whole Alien Earth. Eyeball Kid. I fucking love Eyeball Kid.
T. Ocellus?
Yes. Oh, is that its name?
No, yeah. He just kind of grunts whenever it. Well, I mean, he's done it with the sheep, right?
Yeah. He's done it with a cat, a bunch of other things. Yeah.
He's like, he just makes whatever guttural noise he can make.
I just like when he was like slamming his little tentacles on the wall. Hey, behind you!
Is that a spoiler?
I don't. Yeah. What's behind them, audience members? Find out.
You'll never know.
Yeah. That's actually not what you would expect. So
no, I laughed.
Yeah.
Bro, look out!
Oh man. Well, anyway, you guys want to talk some Captain Power? We ready?
Yeah,
Power on.
We're ready.
Power
Time
on.
to power on.
Speaking of
here. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say maybe we should power on every episode. I'm not. You know.
Oh, I see. Hey, that's not a bad idea. You guys ready to power on? Power on. Here on the Extinction Agenda with James
and
Chris.
Okay, so Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future.
Yes.
I don't know. Okay, so I guess this aired for 22 episodes from 1987 to 1988. We're covering episodes 7, 14, 15, 21, and 22, which like to the best of my ability was like a sampling of both what this show contains and also like includes like the full sort of through line story, without watching 5 hours of Captain Power, which I wasn't going to make all of us do. In retrospect, though, I love every moment of this show, and I would have been more than happy to watch the whole thing.
It had balls.
Yeah. I don't know. J. Michael Straczynski is a major voice in this and wrote the majority of the episodes we've watched. But there's also Larry DiTilio. And those guys all come from He-Man and She-Ra and Ghostbusters. And then they make their way. JMS, I think he works with Twilight Zone or whatever. So he ends up being well positioned to be like a lead show writer on this because he knows the producer, Gary Goddard, who did He-Man. And so he was like, I know who to call, JMS and his pal, Larry DiTilio. And between the two of them, and they'll fucking give me a show. And they sure as shit did. Well, Chris, did you remember this thing at all? Did you have any recollection or any experience with Captain Power as a kid, or?
So here's my Captain Power, my feelings about it as an 8-year-old kid.
Okay.
Because it was definitely a Saturday morning staple for a little while. But as soon as I saw dude like put on that helmet, power on, turn to face the camera, it just like turned my stomach every time. I just couldn't do it. I don't know why. I just like changed the channel like every time. And then I think seeing the unfortunately, and I think that the show does have some, there's something brewing here. I don't think I enjoyed it as much as you guys did, but there are it's got chops. It's got a story that's starting to cook a little bit. But it's just at that unfortunate stage where CGI, computer graphics, whatever you want to call it, just getting underway. And they tried to do a thing with it, and just inevitably it aged poorly. But even at the time, it was sort of like, you'd have to suspend disbelief a little bit.
Well, that's fair. They are soldiers of the future. It's 2147.
Yeah.
Well, in what way does the suspension of disbelief in this one differ from anything else? I don't understand how. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
It was just the blockiness of the the limitation of the animation at the time. That even then just didn't sit well with me.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, it's 1987. Like, I looked at the computers they did all this shit on. It's wild. The shit that they pulled off. I think that's what I end up really admiring about it now is not just like the I think what you find blocky or whatever I find like deeply impressive because I understand that it was made in 1987. And so I'm just like, wow, that's crazy that they were able to do that. And they put together like a powerhouse of just weirdos who were they all showed up to cook. James, you're coming back to
Yeah.
what's your memory of Captain Power? Do you have any?
Well, I immediately look. Okay, this has maybe always been my thing, and maybe I get it from. I come by it. It may be hereditary, but I have an easy time suspending disbelief. Like, I will immediately shut down and enter whatever shitty world you conjure up for me. So power on, I see it, I get goosebumps. I'm like, yes, let's do this. And I'll put the graphics aside, I'll put everything aside, and I'll just get right in there. And I don't know, man. I always found this show had. I'm not gonna say it was ahead of its time, because I don't know that it was. I think it was like, I think they took like more risks, like, and I think that their risks aesthetically that they took in terms of like what they wanted to deliver as a sci-fi product sort of ended up being aging like the Power Rangers, more than maybe they wanted it to, but their scripts had like a lot of chops, like a lot of they were aggressive, they were adult, they were over the top, and it reminds me a little bit of like how Invader Zim was delivered to a child audience, and people were like, "Holy fuck!" Like, no. And then it was just like, shut this shit down, and then they canceled it. And that, to me, that's sort of what this is. And the only thing with this is there's an arguing point that it sucked ass so bad that it got shut down more than the audience it was being delivered to. But I don't know. I have fond memories of it. My dad locked in for it when we were growing up, and we cool. We're fucking fans. They had the worst toy line too. I don't know if you've glimpsed.
I had some of those toys.
If you glimpsed back at them, they really they did not do it any justice. But I mean, like, it got closed down after, like you said, 5 hours of content. So,
but less than the fact that it's. I don't think it is that it sucked, but I think it is the toy and the marketing that was the problem.
It certainly didn't help, and parents. There was a backlash. So it cost $1 million per episode. So that's a problem.
No.
88 money.
In 88 money. So I would just think about, like, this show has only existed for 1 year, 87 to 88. And we remember, right? And I really remember, like, and I haven't watched it since. Like, I think every once in a while I maybe found a YouTube clip or something like that. I was like, oh yeah, I remember what that thing looked like. But I haven't watched any of these episodes. And I think that they touched a nerve in some respect. Like, it was just a flash, at the age of 7 or the age of 8. And like, what the fuck is this? What a strange, like, it ends with like basically a suicide bombing. And I'm like, holy fuck. But it came out like every episode opens up, and I put it on for Matthew for a couple seconds just out of curiosity, and he found the opening boring. And I don't blame him, because they purposefully, according to the documentary that I watched, like the producer, in cahoots with the toy company in order to appease the toy company people, because they had these interactive toys, he would introduce every episode with like 5 pages of action. He would just tack it onto the beginning. And I don't think it does the show any good, because their combat is like it's just like it's just that for like every opening, and that's really hard. That's a problem, and it played into concerns about toys promoting violence to children. Like, I mean, this is the era of the rated R toy line. I would imagine we got the RoboCop and the Terminator and the so on, and I think it just landed and sold itself in a bad way. Like, I think partly that's what you're getting at, Chris. The producers and stuff say that they were doing well, though, but the toy line kind of flopped, and the parents were all pissy, and so then they were just like, "Look, it's not worth it, right? We're not selling toys off this thing, so $1 million an episode and pissed off audience. or segment of the audience, but they said like on some of their time slots, because they sometimes got placed next to like Star Trek: The Next Generation, and at least the way they say it, they did well in that time slot, and sometimes beat Star Trek or something like that. Now, I don't know. That might just be Gary Goddard telling a story to people, but that's what they say.
I don't know, that tracks for me because I feel like it got strong TV play at that time.
Yeah, I think so. I remember
I had a look back to at the sort of dilapidated video game and toy line that they tried to do too, because they were like, apparently there were these like augmented, well, I mean like attempt at 1980s augmented reality VHS tape things you would play through, and we would just be the same mission over and over again because you're just replaying the VHS tape, right? So it didn't take off. It's ludicrous to even behold, actually. Like if you ever get the chance to look at one of those clips, but this stuff too is so obscure that it's like not like even the toys and stuff. They're not hard to find. They're not that expensive, but I don't think any of this stuff is sought after really. Like even in a collector's sphere, because it was such a small blip and it was such an oddball series. And then we talked too about the I mean, there's a lot of like they're riffing off of a lot of things.
They sure are. Well, can we name all the things they're ripping off of? You think?
I don't know. What do you got? I mean, Star Wars. I guess is the easy one because
Terminator. Yeah.
Yeah, because I even watched
Star Wars Terminator.
Star Wars, they might have even ripped off the fly through the Death Star sequence
at the end thing. Yeah.
And that last thing. Terminator.
There's Super Sentai. So, like what the thing that gave birth to Power Rangers is called Super Sentai, and like that's definitely like you even get like the hologram face in the center, and everybody gets in their power suits and stuff, and there's 5 of them, and you're like, Cyberpunk. They're definitely reading William Gibson, thinking about that stuff. We not in some of the episodes we watched, but there's one like where like Power goes into fucking cyberspace and fights Lord Dredd. That one's trippy as fuck. Yeah, I don't know. I guess those are the main. That's the main Venn diagram. Yeah,
I want to say that like the design of the soldiers, the biomechanics or whatever,
Biodreads.
Yeah, they remind me a little bit of the Horde soldiers from She-Ra. I feel like there's some like
that's true. Yeah, that's
I don't know if this like you can't even call me a Doctor Who fan. I'm passingly familiar with the series, but I felt like a bit of the Dalek was in there. Am I wrong about that?
I think you're right. I think the idea of exterminating the thing, the other or whatever, like the Daleks are just like they're machines. Well, but they're like cybernetic machines. So like maybe you're right. Maybe there's more of that than I thought about. But
they'll digitize you, which I don't understand that threat totally. But they're downloading humans into machine bodies later. Is that the idea?
I think that they've just become part of Overmind and the machine, right? Like I don't know if they become.
Yes, I don't know that anyone's been saved. That was the bleakest part of the whole series, was that once you'd been digitized, you weren't like, it's not like they were able to rescue your soul or anything like that. Like you were done. Like you. My brother had a big conversation with us the other night about being digitized. This is something that was like a core memory for him. He was horrified by this introduction from this show, because he would have been a couple years younger than us. So being introduced to this around 4 or 5 years old, and had the idea of these Nazi robots digitizing.
That is terrifying. Yeah,
really stayed with him.
Well, it is awful to just they literally turn into digital bits and they scream.
Yeah,
and then they're sucked up. It's wild.
I'm gonna give this yeah, like there's nothing you could do about that. You just like you get hit once and like you're like sort of like in hell, like machine hell. Actually, there's sort of like one thing I will give this series credit for. They are thinking about the idea of the singularity, like before that even becomes a real, what feels to me to be a real popular culture phenomena. But you know, the merging of machine and man, that's exactly what the Overmind is, and that's its mission.
Yeah, there's a lot of unfortunate parallels in the modern era that I didn't think would resonate so strongly, but like, so what's happening with your Peter Thiel and your blah blah blah, like they're going hard right, they're going fash. At the same time, they're seeking immortality through like machine and shit like that. Um, a sort of like destructive transhumanism. It's and in order to enact this future that they're envisioning, they need power. They literally need power plants. Like, and that's a
True.
major fucking theme in this show. And I didn't pay it any heed as a kid. I was like, well, why do you need extra electricity to run your computer? Oh, that's why. Because
Jesus.
computers
Yeah.
need less electric. Yeah, yeah.
Well, it's funny too to think like, you joke around. We were watching Alien Earth, so we're watching the billionaire kid in Alien Earth move human minds into android bodies, and he's trying to perfect it and clean it up so that he knows it's a sure thing before he actually like converts himself. Obviously, he's gonna need to make sure that works, and then to see like our creepy fascists here on regular planet Earth do it, like Elon terrorizing monkeys to death, and then seeing his Neuralink company celebrated as he implants fucking those chips into quadriplegic people. Now, it's like a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
Unless they start walking, and then it might be quite nice. But
Oh,
that
wow.
said, yeah.
Wasn't nice for the monkeys.
Yeah, I don't know what that. I don't think that's what this show. For all of the parallels that we're like identifying here, like the show is not actually that smart. I think it's kind of by accident. In the episodes that we watched, what's his fucking Power's dad, whatever his dad's name is, the mentor, like what is the guy's name? I didn't write down his stupid name,
They just
funnily
call it
enough.
mentor.
No, the dad's name though, his actual name. He has a name,
Uh,
right? Did we write any of these things down? Okay, anyway.
No.
Power's
No.
dad in the past, he's talking with Hawk Masterson, Fighter in the Sky, and they were like, we had what did they say? Like we had a vision. It was like all the soldiers, all armies of the world under one voice, and that's how they were going to bring about peace. But it turns out that no, Dread took over those armies, right? And like I'm like, what is the message in all of this? Is it like a paranoia about collectivism?
New
Or is
World
it like
Order.
there is I suppose so. Well, yeah, I mean, obviously there's that, but
It's
like,
Project New Order. Yeah.
yeah, but what's his nose? Like he was going to do the exact same thing, all the armies of the world under one voice, but I was going to get rid of war using it. I wasn't going to yet let those armies fight anymore. And I guess we were just going to like sit around and not fight.
Dr.
I
Stuart
don't know what
Gordon
that is.
Power. Yeah.
There we go. Great name. Oh yeah, that's actually Gary. Well, I think that's Gary Goddard's or Mark Xerxes' dad's name. They borrowed someone's actual dad's name and then just put Power at the end. I forget which one.
Oh.
Anyway, but that's it. That's why this whole thing showed up. It was a peacenik kind of thing, but it's through collectivism. It's but it's not a comment on socialism or even communism. It's just like the military under one banner. If you want to stop all wars, you somehow finagle it so that everyone's soldiers are yours, and then you just turn them all off, and that's all you got to do. Or you just turn them against mankind, which is what Dredd did, or Taggart.
Yeah.
Are there any
he's
characters
the,
that you Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Well, I was going to ask if there was any character, but no, I wanted to, if you want to talk about David Hemblem,
Oh, I love him.
Hemblem. Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah,
He was the best part. He was the best part of the show. He's just
He
giving
was.
his all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every word
he was
enunciated, embracing those
totally,
the fascist speeches, like really, really giving her.
he was a stage performer at Stratford and the Shaw Festival and that sort of thing. And James, you're gonna love this. He's the voice of Magneto.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Think about it. Just like close your eyes for a second and hear it. You'll hear it.
There was yeah. I'll go back, but I can hear it. There is such a commitment. All actors on all sides, but the Lord Dread actor was just unbelievable.
Least favorite,
Who's your
Captain
least
Power
favorite?
himself.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man, that guy sucks. Tim Hoodgen or whatever the fuck his name is.
No, he was.
think
He was rigid. He was giving. I don't know. I think that I thought everybody was great. I mean, I think
saw
Hawk
dignity
was
in it.
probably the best. Yes, yeah. I see there was a class. There was a dedication to duty. You know that he was trying.
I know what they were going for. Yeah, but I get it. I get it.
What's interesting, I actually went and looked up all these actors because just sometimes, like, something's way in the past. I'm curious, like, what are they going to do?
Who you thought of?
They're all like working like most of them to this day, getting work, but not Tim Dunnigan, not Captain Power himself. He had a very brief career.
It doesn't surprise me, man. There's nothing going on under that, and apparently they searched far and wide in order to find their fucking Captain Power, and they chose this guy. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ. Like he's fine. He's fine. He does the work with the stuff, but like he looks like a nerd. And I know he's a scientist's son, but even younger Captain Power, like we get a vision of younger Captain Power in a Summoning of Thunder. And that dude's like chiseled jaw and kind of beefy or whatever, and like he just grows up to be lanky and nothing. And that was always the weakest part of the show, and to my mind, one of the reasons it probably failed. They had a better leading man. Sorry, man. Sorry, James.
It could have been the critique. They were like, they just had all these like. There were like sexual undertones. There were like there were war crimes, and they kept it like there was like that the ferryman episode. There was like socialism. Like they were like I don't know.
No, for sure. I mean, I hope you mean National Socialism. The like old world dies, immortal, mechanized, blood, trust, mines. It's and they basically have swastikas, but they're like and Hitler Youth uniforms and that kind of thing.
It was just a lot for daytime. Like it was like anything could have nudged this into the point of being snuff.
Well, that's
like
harsh. What do you mean by that?
I just mean like it just really like it really walked a line. Like I just feel like if the Terminator was rated R, this didn't need much. Like to get like just a little, maybe a charred skeleton here or there, like a little ramp up on some of the weird sexual undertones. Like anything could have sidewalled this, and that's probably where like the parents came in and they were like, wait a second, like my kid doesn't need a lesson in Nazi youth and whatever.
Yeah. Oh, and I was probably hitting too close to home for the squares. I get it. But the that Judgment episode. Okay, so the episodes we watched, the Ferryman, where I included this because it's the introduction of Blastar, and you get a little sense of the relationship between Dread and Overmind, and the Hitler Youth analogy and all that stuff.
Yeah, he did get some good tank action too, because he was. I recall him being like a favorite, like a kid's favorite.
Oh yeah, man. Well, he was the big tough guy, and like that Sven Ole Thorsten guy. Like we've seen him. He was in Conan the Barbarian, right? Like,
yeah, he's a beauty.
Yeah.
mean,
I thought he was
wasn't a
the guy
good
from The Running Man. For a while, all my life up until now, I thought he was also the guy from The Running Man who comes out, and I thought she called him steroids. I still don't know what that guy says. Do you know what? Do
No, but
you
I'm
know what
gonna
I'm
go back
talking
and
about?
find out. Yes, I do. Probably
Yeah,
put subtitles on.
literally, I've never been able to understand like what that line was. But anyway, um, judgment is that it's it's a morality play, kind of. Getting back to like, is this appropriate for kids? I'd say so, in the same way that like the ones who walk away from MLS are is appropriate for children. Like, I really like the balls of this because they really didn't speak down to kids. I think that's why I remember it so much, because I was like, it
Well,
was
because that
it
kid
was
comes.
raw.
Is it the one where the kid comes swinging at her with the axe?
Yeah, just as soon as
Yeah.
she shows up, too.
Yeah, he's just gonna take her head off. She fucking burned our
And
families alive. She's with
yeah,
Jed. Good God. And then I think
because
the funniest thing was like, I was like, he's totally mistaken. And then the flashback happened. I was like, oh my God,
no,
they're doing this.
yeah,
Yeah, then you start to realize, oh, she is pretty blonde haired and blue eyed.
yeah,
This is plausible.
Yeah. Yeah, she's really shaken
yeah,
with
because she's
guilt here, you know?
yeah. She was a dread youth back in the days, but then she found the error of her ways in that moment, but she was lost. Like, she didn't have a family. I don't know, like, it's just heady stuff. And like, what really not troubled me, but I was just like, Jesus Christ, as an adult, is when they flash back to her seeing that guy getting tortured. And he's
Oh,
got the little things on his eyeballs, and he's like, no, no more, no more. And I'm like, holy fuck.
yeah,
Like, they did.
Corporal Jennifer was just turning a blind eye. Ugh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just thought that was fucking crazy.
Well, that's what shook her up too, right? It was that like, then I realized what was behind the slogans, and her whole thing is like she never had a family, so she was sort of like orphaned into the dread youth. So you had that element, and I was impressed by Captain Power when she's just gushing over him like he taught me what it means to be human, things I never knew. You're like, wow, guys. This guy's got it.
Yeah. I remember when you showed up, you were so full of rage. Yeah, I think some of that's missing actually from the character, because she's really placid and kind of nice and ditzy. Not ditzy. She's very smart as a character, but she's like wholesome.
Yes.
And none of that dark shit is there. I think that might have been a bit more of an interesting character. Um, I also kind of admired going through it this time. I was like, they were really playing the long game. And JMS said this, and I believe it. Like, they had plans up until like season 4 or 5 or whatever. They had like a big story that they wanted to tell, and they'd
You get
plant
that
little
sense.
seeds for it. And, yeah,
Yeah, and that's
because
really
they like
satisfying.
genuinely thought they had something. Like, because rightly or wrongly, I mean, it's half right, mostly wrong.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, like I'm not surprised that they had all that written. I mean, because I feel like the downfall would have been production, special effects, like costume and stuff like that. I guess they did a lot of soundstage stuff that didn't seem to be that expensive. But if you're saying they were blowing like $1 million per episode, I mean, you have
it's
to
mostly
deliver.
the CGI.
And back then, you would have to deliver on the toy line, and if that wasn't
Yeah.
the case, then pretty well that's the end of that.
Small bit of trivia: they filmed this all in Toronto, Ontario, in a
Ooh.
TTC bus station, like in one of the TTC warehouses that wasn't in use, and everything was filmed. That was the stage. Like they just created sections within that bus station, and they filmed it in like sort of complex ways. Like, if they only had a couple moments to deal with, let's say, the interior of one of the jets or whatever, they would film all the jet stuff from the entire season, And then, so they did a lot of block recording, and they're just really efficient about the entire operation. The rubber suits were incredibly hot. And it was a sweltering Toronto heat, apparently, which we
They were
come
rubber?
know and love. Well, when they're in the suits, right? Like they've got like heavy rubber components, like they're in full bodysuits, and they have to just film all day. So they'd have to run out with ice and water and shit like that. And,
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I mean,
Um,
some of the parts are probably like actually metal also. Or they look like they
yeah,
were.
it depends. Sometimes Tank, for action scenes, it was like a full-on rubber outfit that they made it look like it was metallic. And then I don't know, they had various like types of suits. It's a really interesting documentary. I won't like fucking just tell you everything about the documentary because that's boring. But yeah, like, so it made me like the show even more because I was like, wow, holy fuck. I just really like a production, you
Yeah, there was. I mean, there was a
on
lot of commitment to the the final two episodes. Really, like, I feel like that really like derailed me because I was enjoying the I like the two bio dreads.
Yes.
Sauron and the other
Blastar.
one Blastar. Yeah,
Mhm.
they're basically and their weird trash talk about how one's like a ground dweller and the other one's like a flying rat, whatever. But it's just
Mhm.
funny that they're indestructible. That's so problematic for them. It's just like an ongoing thing that you can like only disable them and minimize casualties. Like it was just such a bleak undertone for the show all the time with and then like some of the best like internal strife in the show is Overmind versus Dread. Because
Yeah.
Overmind's watching him. One of my favorite moments in the stuff we watched was the when Dread has that little rat sort of like R2D2 thing. It's like
Lackey.
working, yeah, lackey. It's working for Overmind, and it's always spying on Dread. And he's like, "I serve the greater fucking good, or whatever. The full. I can't remember his
Bio-Dread
verbiage or
Empire
whatever.
or something.
The
Yeah.
Bio-Dread Empire, yeah." And he gets him to run over some fucking open wires and roasts
Yeah.
it, and then basically puts it out to pasture with a fucking Monty Python joke. I'm not
Yeah,
dead.
I'm not. Yeah,
that's right.
not quite dead yet.
That was fucking awesome. And I don't know, just some of the stuff they had going on in terms of that was like, because you weren't sure if Dredd was going to turn on Overmind. You weren't sure if his human undertones took over in that other episode when Captain Power was visiting his father's grave. He decided to pull back a full-scale attack where he could have probably bushwhacked their leader. And he just I don't know, he just didn't pull the trigger, So you always there's this like edge to him where he's just got enough humanity left to like either make mistakes or bring his vanity to the table where he can his ego comes into play and he sort of wants to push past Overmind.
Yeah.
And that's like some of the fun undertone that gave it a bit more depth than just like Power Rangers versus bad guy.
I think my favorite Dread moment, and he's so Darth Vader. Like, I mean, it's like literally the breaking down of like he becomes more machine-like and more sort of like dependent on the machine as he goes along. The look of him, but there's that episode where he's it's the confrontation between Power's dad and Taggart, and he's not fully enmeshed in the machine yet. He's basically pleading with the dad to be like, I just want you to merge with the machine, give it a shot, hear what it has to say, and then you'll see it's all gonna be good. They have that sort of like that hopefulness, but then I forget, it's the assault or whatever, and they have no choice, or like Taggart gets shot, and when he wakes up, it's like they've just like the Overmind and the machines have just like taken the opportunity to just like basically build him into this cyborg body, and they totally gaslight him about it. They're like, "Oh, it's gonna be great now. Like you're gonna be terrorizing everybody. No one's gonna resist the will of the machine." He's like, "Yeah, let me see my face," and he just kind of accepts it. This is good now.
I did like that scene when he's like, "Let me see my face." Um, it's too early for the Batman movie for the Joker thing. Mirror. Kind
Oh, in terms
of
of that
reminded me
torture
of
line
that.
too, yeah. When he wakes up, he's like, "I hurt," and that got
Yeah.
me, man. That was fucked up.
So
And it's just
they
telling him,
echo that in I think the end of Retribution Part 2, or maybe actually it's before Retribution, before the last two episodes we watched. I watched the two episodes before that, and like they have this like they really damage Volcania, and Overmind gets hurt, and he's like, "I hurt." And so, I don't know, that's not fucking rocket science that they have those sort of echoes, but there's enough of a writerly consciousness among them.
they built it in.
Uh, yeah.
Going to the idea of like the developing plot, which you really can feel Straczynski setting up, but
Mhm.
the I really liked that. My favorite part of the whole show was the implied sort of insanity of Sauron, the flying
Yes.
general, and like just sort of like there's
Yeah.
that scene when Power gets a chance to interrogate him a little bit, and he says like, "Yo, like, where are you? Are you just a creature of limited intelligence, or can you reason?" And it says, "First there was darkness, now I think all the time." And then it says,
Mhm.
"I think and listen to the voices." And there's something in its programming that doesn't understand a voice in the dark,
Mhm.
which is like clearly
Mhm.
there's something lurking in there, and I suspect it might just be like,
I have come for you.
Who are you? State your purpose.
I am Sauron. I enforce the will of the machine.
Are you a biomech? Limited intelligence? Or can you think? Reason?
Yes, I think. First there was darkness, but now I think all the time. I fight and I think. I fly and I think. And I listen to the voices. And I find something in my program I do not understand. There is something in the dark.
Where were you developed?
You will forget everything you heard, and you will come with me. Now!
Captain Power's dad somewhere in there, like sort of like having the potential to subvert the machine or something. But it had these almost like demonological overtones, like Legion, like the Overmind
Yeah.
refers to itself as the voice of many, and like that was
Yeah.
neat.
Yeah, I took that as you're right. I mean, like that's definitely what they're attempting to evoke. When he says there's something in the dark, like something in my programming, I assumed it would be like it is the thing that's stopping me from being a humanist. I think, therefore I am, but he's just unable to enter into any sort of, he's trapped. And he doesn't like it or whatever. And he's like, I don't want to talk about it anymore. And yeah, I think we might have, I don't know, extrapolating from that, like maybe we would have got a good Sauron at some point. Um, who knows? It's all lost to time now. I cut the audio for that actually as the outro for this episode because I was
Nice.
just like, this is so amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll use it. I don't know if I'll use it now. Maybe I'll cut it in, and I've got some other options. Um. Anyway, that's Captain Power, I guess.
Yeah, I can't believe how
Yeah,
bad I was
and-
taken out at the end. Sorry, I wanted to circle back the end of the first or those last two episodes we did when they fridged
Oh, yeah.
they fridged Corporal Jennifer, like by like doing
Right.
like the Christmas tree party and the Christmas tree party with all the dancing and this weird like war camp sort of vibe that it had, that she's just dancing with every man on the team or whatever.
Yeah.
There was a goodness but an awkwardness to it, and I don't know. I don't know how to take the whole thing.
When Power's dancing with Pilot, the other guys are standing in the background smiling, but they're like clicking their fingers or whatever. They're kind of like doing like a doo-wop side to side thing and looking at each other and smiling, and it has all the ambience of a musical. I guess like it really is kind of jarring within the context of the show, which is not wholesome in any respect. Like, really, I don't know if there's any wholesome moments up until that. And yeah, it comes off a little strange and hokey in a show that's already sort of strange and hokey. But I think it worked. I think at the end when they're able to like flash back to that dance,
the fridging. Yeah.
I'm all busted up inside, Johnny. I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
There's no point coming back for me. My liver's fucked.
It's funny how like they have to completely deny, or they don't have to, but they choose to completely deny, you know, like it sounds at times like she is dating or like is involved with Captain Power. But I assume that actually is never consummated, because in the final episode, it's sort of like they're just about to like confess that they like each other, and then it's like all squadrons activate, you know, it's like they get pulled away from it. And then one of my first thoughts when I watched the intro, I was like, oh, they have a girl in this show. And then to flinch her at the end of the season, it's like, what? No, total sausage party from here on. I don't know what they were planning to do.
Oh, okay. So, they did this because she wanted to quit the show. It was too hard, and she just wasn't into it, and she wanted out. So they were like, okay, so we got to write her out. Let's give her a fridge.
Okay.
But they had plans about like some sort of biodread woman who was going to infiltrate Captain Power's crew or some shit.
Oh, that's awful.
But she was going to be like disguised as a human, and I don't know. They had some ideas.
So they would do something with that. Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, little diversity.
Well,
you know, you want to try to sell some girls on this ultra militaristic property.
Well, I mean, they are the people who wrote She-Ra, right? Like it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And some of the yeah. So like, there's lots of there's a lot of female characters in this show. Not to like apologize for whatever, because you're right. Like the main characters are predominantly male. But yeah, they often, most of the plots kind of revolve around a woman who's important or has some sort of agency or action or something like that. Like, I think it's just kind of incidental. You know, the fridging just is a thing that they had to do. They had to get rid of her, right? So they might as well do something dramatic with it.
She's had the most successful career post show. Like she's like,
oh, you looked around at everybody. I was looking at her thing too. Okay.
Yeah.
She
right up until present, she's like got major roles. Yeah.
She seemed to be fairly young though, comparatively to most of the cast too.
Yeah.
Except for Captain Power.
Yeah.
Who was a bust, right?
Died on the vine.
Pour one out for Tim Dunnigan.
You guys want a last piece of trivia that I don't know. Maybe it brings us full circle. But Gary Goddard, the who also directed the He-Man movie and was the producer of this show, and he was involved in sexual assault / rape allegations that involved Bryan Singer. Like he was sort of like because they made like a musical together, like a musical movie or something. That stuff got all dropped though, so it's fine. I don't know. I just didn't know when to bring that up, but it struck me as something that needed to at least be said.
Leave us with something to think about.
Yeah, meditative statement. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair to Captain Power. So next week, we're doing Batman Returns. That's correct?
That's
right.
That's
what that movie.
Oh yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay, good enough. And then after that, we're going to be returning to The Boys. So if anyone wants to start reading the next, it's basically the equivalent of the next omnibus. You can do that, and we'll be here talking smack.
Talking shit about it.
You who have served as dread youth and now graduate to over units, you are the special ones, working for a holy cause. The old world dies, and with it, the old ways. We will remake it as it should be, must be, immortal, mechanized. human minds in gleaming, undying metalloid bodies. Give me your blood, your trust, your minds, and we shall build a new tomorrow, a new future, a new order!